And a lot of these best of or must have 4K lists are nothing but classics, artsy movies, modern blockbusters that look like artsy movies. And most of this stuff doesn't even look that good on 4K, or even worse, they aren't much better than watching it on a standard Blu-ray. So in this series of videos, I'm going to be recommending some movies on 4K that actually look great in 4K. None of that low contrast, soft lit cinephile crap.
Is this some kind of joke?
More of a game, really.
We're talking about the kind of extra crispy 4K video that really pops. And hopefully you'll find some movies on this list that you've been missing out on.
Welcome to the party, pal!
Nice car. What's the retail on one of those?
More than you can afford, pal. Ferrari.
Smoke.
And I'd say Universal's hit or miss with 4K, but they really knocked it out of the park with this one. And I feel like they had their A-team working on this because it's spotless. And this is a big upgrade over the old Blu-ray. And this has got a lot of detail in most scenes, whether it's a wide shot or a close-up. Check out the textures on the faces here. And most people wouldn't even know how much detail they were missing on the Blu-ray. Look at how bad the clipping is here. I mean, they literally just erased the background in some of these scenes on the Blu-ray, but now you can see it on the 4K. And look at the beautiful color on these exterior shots. This was made in California, so it's got that natural daylight feel to it. I mean, how many movies look like this today? I know they want tax credits and all that, but you know, Toronto and Georgia ain't California. And these scenes are way brighter in person, you just can't see it on this video. But if you pick it up or stream it in HDR, some of these shots are really amazing. You know, the way the reflections hit the cars and the neon colors. I mean, this is a great 4K. And the 4K Blu-ray does have a really badass DTS soundtrack. And you don't see DTS:X much anymore, but the way it works is it adapts to your speaker setup. So if you got front heights, you got surround backs, it'll use those. Or if you have overhead speakers, it'll use those. And this one does have a lot of surround and overhead effects, and they punched up the bass compared to the Blu-ray and the streaming version. So definitely put this on your list if you're looking for some of the best 4K movies.
It don't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning's winning.
Girls, watch out for those weirdos.
We are the weirdos, mister.
And this was a surprise hit back in the day, and Sony had released it several times on DVD and Blu-ray, but for whatever reason they let Shout Factory take the 4K. But luckily enough, Sony did the restoration for it themselves, and they're almost always excellent, so this looks immaculate. And it's a huge upgrade over that old dingy looking Blu-ray. And I'm sure some people are still rocking the DVD because it was such a popular seller at the time. But man, if you haven't seen this in 4K, you gotta pick this one up. The detail level's up there with the best 4Ks I've ever seen. And this is another one that was shot in California. And you just can't get movies that look like this today. I mean, look how authentic these locations are. You know, just the whole look and feel of it. Textures, it just looks amazing. And this didn't get an upgrade to Dolby Atmos, but the existing 5.1 soundtrack is actually pretty great. And if you do have an Atmos setup, it does upmix really well. Just make sure you set the receiver to Dolby Surround or DTS Neural X, and you'll get all kinds of sound effects coming from overhead like rain, thunder, lightning, as well as the musical score. And the 4K Blu-ray from Shout Factory does have a glitch where the bitrate drops to some really unacceptable levels. And when you look it up, there was a lot of fear-mongering about it, but I don't think it's enough to skip this because it looks so great most of the time. I mean, we're talking about a handful of scenes and a few seconds in some cases, so it's really not something that's going to ruin the entire movie. And if you're that worried about it, you can get the streaming version on iTunes or wherever you prefer to get your digital movies. It is Movies Anywhere, but the 4K Blu-ray is still noticeably sharper.
Are you impressed?
I'm impressed!
You look like Lonnie Anderson.
Good morning, angels.
Good morning, Charlie!
And I've recommended this one before. It's on my best old movies with great Dolby Atmos soundtracks video, but it's also one of the best 4Ks in terms of picture quality. Another immaculate restoration from Sony, and a nice upgrade over the old Blu-ray. You can see the bump in detail in these shots. And this movie's always had a lot of color on home video, but this 4K really pushes it. And I bet the people who love this new modern cinematography, you know, this low contrast stuff, I bet you they hate movies like this. I mean, the cinematographers today would probably desaturate the hell out of this. And this is another one that you really can't see the true brightness and contrast in this video, but trust me, if you watch this at home, these colors and the brightness really pop. And I've covered the Atmos soundtrack in another video, but yeah, it's awesome. You'll hear all kinds of stuff flying around, overhead, helicopters, debris from explosions raining down, heavy bass. So this is a top tier 4K, but for whatever reason, there's not much interest in it. I mean, look at this thread over on blu-ray.com. Hasn't been touched since last Christmas. Only had a little over 300 replies to begin with, and this came out in 2018. Just makes me wonder who in the hell's even buying these 4Ks. I mean, do people not like entertainment anymore? Maybe I'm missing something. Let me know in the comments.
Your heart's beating 3 times the normal rate. That's because you're losing so much blood.
About 30 seconds, body's gonna shut down.
Helena, the girl you beat half to death, her life's gonna go on. Yours is gonna end right here on this funky floor. Over $9,800.
And I'm surprised that this one doesn't get talked about a lot more. Just look at the thread over on blu-ray.com. I mean, nobody cares about this movie in 4K. What are these people even watching? And I'm sure being a 4K upscale has a lot to do with it, but you'd never even know it if you're watching on a high quality display. And this is really like a testament to just how important contrast is in picture quality. I always say contrast is king. If you don't have good contrast, everything else is going to suck. But in cases like this, when you're dealing with something that was shot digitally at 2K, it makes all the difference. And you see a lot of stuff that was shot on digital even at 4K, and the difference between the Blu-ray and the 4K is almost non-existent. So it's really up to the HDR to make a difference, and this has amazing HDR. It definitely outclasses the Blu-ray. And how they did the remastering on this is not just about the upscaling, because that only gets you so far. It's about the HDR contrast and how it creates that perception of detail, even if it's not really there. So even though this isn't a native 4K as they like to call it, I can still easily recommend it because the HDR looks so good. And there are 2 versions of this on 4K. The standard release, which has Dolby Atmos, which you can also get on digital. And there's also an IMAX enhanced version in this 4K collection. And it's just a little bit sharper with the IMAX processing, but most people would never see it. But it does have an interesting DTS 5.1 soundtrack that I think they used for the IMAX release. But I don't think you can go wrong with either one of them. Both soundtracks are great. The DTS soundtrack does feel like it hits a little bit harder, and IMAX is known for their bass management, so they probably played with the mid bass on this one. But the Atmos soundtrack has that more openness to it, so I don't think you can go wrong either way. But definitely pick up a copy of this one way or the other.
I like it. Let's do it again.
We make a pact. We take this to our grave. Agreed. Julie?
Yeah, okay.
And I really love recommending this one because it's so far away from all the cinephile and cinematography crap that's so popular around 4K and physical media these days. You know, just a great Friday night movie that happens to be one of the best 4Ks you can get. And it's a huge upgrade over the old Blu-ray. I mean, that old Blu-ray was terrible.
Yeah, I'll say. You know what? You guys should check out a mirror once in a while. You two look like shit run over twice.
I don't even have to zoom in to show you how much more detail you're getting on this 4K. I mean, look at this. The difference is night and day. Look how faded the Blu-ray looks. I mean, there's almost no color on the Blu-ray. And the 4K is so much more saturated with the better HDR contrast. The black levels are darker and the highlights are still bright. See, that's great contrast. That's what makes a great picture. And with movies today, they just suck the contrast right out of them. And the Atmos soundtrack on this is so much fun. Right from the beginning when the fireworks pop off overhead, and then the waves crashing behind you, it's definitely immersive. And to be fair, out of everything on this list, this movie did get talked about quite a bit when it first came out on 4K, but I don't see it making too many best of or must have 4K lists. And none of these enthusiasts or influencers are going to pick a movie like this on 4K over something like Oppenheimer or classics like Jaws and The Godfather, you know, even though this looks better. But let's be real, even if you had the best home theater money can buy, I'm talking unlimited budget, would you rather watch a dull looking 4K like Oppenheimer or Dune? Or would you rather watch a nice crispy 4K like this? I don't know, maybe I'm just anti-cinema at this point. Let me know in the comments.
Have a nice life, guys. I'm out of here.